Hey, here we go. Got another installment in the math for this particular unit. And we're going to talk today about the standard form equation. We're going to talk particularly how to graph with the standard form equation. And it's just a different form, and one of the understandings for this particular unit is that we can have equations that look different but mean the same thing. And so standard form is another form of the equation. It looks just like this that I keep circling around here. It's got ax plus by equals c, so a, b, and c are numbers. And so basically we've got, in this case, we've got x and y on one side of the equation and some constant on the other side. And we'll show you particularly what that looks like. So in order to graph this, what we're going to take advantage of is we're going to take advantage of the x-intercept, which is just where the graph touches the x-axis, and the y-intercept, which is where the graph touches the y-axis. And it's technically speaking, the x-intercept happens when y is 0, because all along here y is equal to 0, and the y-intercept happens when x is 0. And so if we have those 2 points, if we have a couple, let's just get smiley face here, let's get star points. So boom, if that's my y-intercept and I don't know, my x-intercept is here, I've got 2 points. I can make a line pretty darn easily. Get the line tool out and go like that. And I know what you're thinking, well, that looked really easy, but how do we find out where those 2 points are? Well, stick with us and we'll show you as we move forward, okay? When we're doing this, we like to use what, I don't know if we actually ever call it this, but I'm going to call it this now. I'm going to call it just the cover-up method, okay, as a way to find the x and the y-intercepts. And it's pretty easy because it basically involves covering something up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the y-intercept first. In order to find the y-intercept, I need to make x 0. The way I'm going to make x 0 is I'm just going to cover it up. Okay, it's gone. Because if x is 0, if x is 0 right there, 3 times 0 is 0, so that whole thing is gone. And so then I'm just left with the equation 2y is equal to 12, and if 2y is equal to 12, then that means that y must be 6. Okay? So that's, of course, why we want to be able to solve those equations like we were last week. So if y is 6, that's my y-intercept. So there's one part that I've got taken care of. And then I do the cover-up method, and I want to find the x-intercept. So in order to find the x-intercept, I make y 0. 2 times 0 is 0, so this is gone. And so I've got 3x equals 12, and if 3x is equal to 12, that means x has to equal 4. And so I've got my x-intercept of 4. I get out my line tool, or you get a ruler, and I just essentially, see if I can do this, pretty close, about so, connect the dots, line it up a little better. Something along those lines. And then, of course, you know how I am. Oh, what are we doing? What's going on? 10. I want arrowheads, and I want an equation. What is it? 3x plus 2y? Must be 2y equals 12. Okay? So it's as simple as that. Find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept, use the cover-up method, cover it up, there we go. It's a little sluggish. It's late at night, though. All right, so let's try this one. Okay, cover-up method. Let's find the y-intercept first. To get the y-intercept, we make x disappear. So it's gone. 2 times what equals 20? Well, I think you would agree with me. There it is. That it's 10, so, way up here. So my y-intercept is 10. Okay, let's find the x-intercept. Sorry, I have to keep bopping around here. To find the x-intercept, we'll make y disappear. Make y 0. 5 times what equals 20? Or if I do, divide by 5, I get that y is equal to 4. So my y-intercept is 4. And then I see if we can't get the line tool out. Like that. We tend to continue the lines the rest of the way through. Grab a pen, put some arrowheads on it because it's a line. It doesn't just show up where we want it. Let's write the equation. 5x plus 4y. It must be 2y. What is it? Forgot already. 2y. 5x plus 2y equals 20. Okay, notice this has got what kind of slope? It's got a negative slope. It goes downhill as we look at it from left to right, so just be aware of that. So there's not that obvious clue from the answer here that it's going to be a positive or negative slope. We don't get that until we look at it, okay? So that's about all we're doing is the cover-up method, and sometimes we might have 4x minus 2y equals 16, but we can use the same thing. Let's find the y-intercept first. So let's make x disappear. This time we've got negative 2y, because that minus sign does make a difference. Negative 2y, so divide by negative 2, and we're going to get that y equals negative 8. That's my y-intercept. And so I plot y equals negative 8. I almost plotted it up there. There's y equals negative 8. And then I do the reverso trick and I cover up this one. And so I get that 4x equals 16. So x has to equal 4. And so there's my other point. Grab the line tool. A little close. You'd have a ruler, so you'd make a do a much better job of that. That's the way look where we want. And arrowheads and a label 4x minus 2y. No, it is. Let's undo that. 4x minus 2y equals 16. So it's pretty straightforward thing. We just kind of go through and do it. So I don't know, is this the last one? It's the last one. I'm going to leave it for you. Yeah, why don't you try that one? And we'll check in on that one as we move tomorrow. So you can graph it. You've got the paper to do that. Just do the old cover-up method, okay? So we'll take a look and we'll try that one out tomorrow. So basically, graphing from standard form. It's just a different way to do it. So cover up x to find the y-intercept. And then plot it, I guess we'll say. Step 2, cover up y to find the x-intercept. And plot it. And then step 3 is essentially connect the dots. Connect the dots. Okay? And, label, arrows, all that sort of thing that we like you to have to make it crisp. Well, that really looks like arrows, but we'll make it work. Okay, so 3 steps: cover up the x to find the y-intercept, cover up the y to find the x-intercept, and plot both of those 2 points, and then connect the dots. And then put your arrows on and label it and make it look like a line's supposed to look with a label and whatnot. Okay, positive slopes, negative slopes. So it's just different form of graphing. It's pretty quick to do for the most part. Should be a nice change, and lines can have different rules. That's why we have different forms. We have point slope, we have slope intercept, and we'll talk, of course, about when it's advantageous to have each one. So that's about it. I hope you learned something. If you have questions, please ask, and we'll look at those tomorrow.